welcome to the Blue Jays Today Show, where we are back and we are live with y'all every single Sunday evening, where we break down the following week in baseball, everything Blue Jays, everything in the MLB. It's going to be a fun, exciting season after we just saw some opening weekend baseball. Before we get into it, guys, this live stream of this Blue Jays Today Show is brought to you by Betway and in partnership of iGaming Ontario. Must be 19 or older to play, and you got to bet the responsible way, ladies and gentlemen, because there's a few things that I'm going to be keeping my eye out for this season. A lot of breakout stories, a lot of breakout teams. We're going to get to all of it, and as well, of course, the Toronto Blue Jays series gets St. Louis Cardinals. I'm your host, Adam Peddle.
And I'm your host, Nicholas Playlog, and tons of stuff to talk about, guys. I mean, first thing, just like a little bit of a, I don't know, like, nice note. I'm so happy that when I check Twitter, I do see some baseball highlights. You know, It was a dark winter. I know Blue Jays fans that are watching this right now, not the series necessarily that we wanted it to be, but still, just seeing highlights, that makes me feel good. First thing that we got to talk about today, Tampa Bay Rays. I've been seeing way too many highlights about the Tampa Bay Rays. They look absolutely electric so far. 3 games, 3 W's. Just a few statistics to note right here. In their 3-game series, they gave up 3 runs, and they scored 21.
Yeah. That'll do it.
That's a pretty good statistic.
That's a solid 1 ERA, folks. Literally 1 ERA as I flip over to here on the year. I mean, they can't get much better than that. Like, they are leading the entire MLB. And again, it's only 3 games. We're not trying to overreact, but it's quite the statement when, you know, you're talking Blue Jays and Yankees, the division to be. Guys, do not forget about these Tampa Bay Rays. They are going to absolutely be dominant this season. And they're also doing it with their hitting, too. I mean, when you flip over to the hitting side of things, they're right here as well. They're number 6 in OPS, 870 OPS. They're scoring a ton of runs. So, man, are you worried about the Tampa Bay Rays at all this season? I know that you're a big stickler. Let me hear your thoughts, Nick.
Listen to this, man. Listen to this. Wander Franco, 636 batting average so far.
He had a great series.
Games. It's 3 games. It means nothing. But if this guy gets going, like, that's the guy that they were supposed to be built off of, right? Like, they're Vladimir Guerrero Jr. If he has the season that Guerrero had in 2021, you know, like this is, they were supposed to be bad at offense, right? And then when you look at their pitching, McClanahan popped off. He's always going to pop off. But who is Jeffrey Springs? Who the hell is this guy?
I could actually fight for Jeffrey Springs. I've been eyeing this guy for a minute. He is really, really good.
6 innings, 12 Ks, no hits. That's what happened today.
Dude,
that's what happened today.
Dude, McClanahan and Springs is nasty. And it's unfortunate that we have Glasnow that's still injured right now, but that is going to be nasty for the Tampa Bay Rays. Like, that's better 1-2 punch than our 1-2 punch. Jeffrey Springs is an elite hitter, or excuse me, elite pitcher. Absolutely dominant.
You know, and I see people in here already talking about it. It's like, well, you're looking at our rotation, right? It's like Bassett and Burrios and Kikuchi. And our whole entire argument, which I will continue to argue in this entire live stream and in this podcast, is it's early. Pitchers take a while to get going. But Tampa Bay Rays are not taking a while.
No.
They're coming out of the gate, guns a-blazing right now, putting on a statement. 3 games, 3 Ws. They look absolutely locked in and electric. I always count them out. I'm going to continue to count them out because I hate them. Because I don't know how they're doing this. I don't understand.
They just play good baseball, man. They just play good baseball. They understand pitching to a level that a lot of organizations do not understand pitching. Right. They know how to scout. They know how to find players in other organizations. Jeffrey Springs is one of those players that they have scouted and they have found, and he's an absolute gem of a guy, and they're going to continue to get it done. I know you hate them, and I hate them too. Like, I don't want the Tampa Bay Rays to be even in this race, but they're going to. And they're going to threaten 90 games this season. And you said they have a bad offense. Well, they have a top 10 lineup. They do. And the depth is there.
If this happens, you know, if this continues to go down, and a Rosarina, like, he's starting out looking good, right? Brandon Lowe, he's on the injury. He's already hurt, but when he gets back, that's a guy, right? Like, this is already, we are seeing the makings of what could make them successful. And I'm not coming out here and saying, like, oh, this is going to happen for the remainder of the 159 more games we have to play, or however many there is, right? That's not what I'm saying. But if it does, like, this is the formula for them to be absolutely terrifying in the MLB, to take over the AL East. and to frankly cause a horrible problem, a
Yeah.
horrific problem for the Toronto Blue Jays, because we cannot have them be this good.
Right.
They cannot be this dominant.
Right, and now, can I throw something out there that I saw a few comments out there, Chris, and we also got Strike 21. They were playing the Tigers this weekend. I mean, we're going to be playing the Tigers in about a week as well. So if we got to be dominating too. If that's the expectation, then we got to be dominating too.
Exactly. Yes. Totally. I agree with you. This is still Major League Baseball, though.
Yep.
And it is tough to win games. So I don't want to. I know that the Tigers are not incredible by any standpoint, but it is still tough to win games. And they're putting on a statement. They're putting on a show so far. So, credit where credit is due. Tampa Bay, you look really good. And I hate that you look as good as you do.
I know. Well, we'll see. We'll definitely have some series coming up very soon in the month of April, I believe. And we're going to take them on.
100%.
Another team that we're going to take on in the month of April who has a player that's also putting on quite the show right now. And that's Aaron Judge in the New York Yankees. This guy has not stopped where he's left off from his MVP ways. When we flip over to the stat here, this is all updated from today. He's already got 2 home runs in the first 3 games of the season. He's got an OPS of 1, 3, 8, 5. Obviously, that's all exaggerated right now. But, he might continue this for the entire season in terms of just his power, his dominance, just like he did last year.
Man, I wanna hate Aaron Judge. I really do.
I can't.
But that's the problem. It's impossible for me. As a Blue Jays fan, you want to hate him because it's this is a guy that does so much damage to you. But he's out here showing why he was the MVP. He's picking up exactly where he left off. And going back to that first game that New York played, the first game they won 5-0. It was over San Francisco. Aaron Judge, first AB, boom, home run. It's gone. It's annihilated, right? This already looks. This is what you need. And then they had their pitching pop off. Garrett Cole looked phenomenal. He was dominant. He gets it done, and their bullpen continues for the rest of the way. Then in their second game, Schmidt pitched.
I know.
The guy that we really don't know a whole lot about. Schmidt pitched in the second game. They lose that game. He gives up 3 earned runs. The bullpen has to come in a little bit early. Then they get a little bit roughed up. They lose that game. And then in the next game today, they go on and they shut them out again because they get the starter that they want to have. When Carlos Rodon comes back, when Severino looks good, when he comes back, and you can take the Schmidts, you can take those guys out of their rotation. This is how New York Yankees win their ball games.
See, here's the funny thing, I think they also got a gem in Brito, man. They really do got a gem in Brito. He had 5 innings today with 6 strikeouts, no earned runs, 2 hits, 1 walk. That's a guy that's replacing Severino. So you're saying he's going to come back. Well, Brito's been looking dominant for quite some time for these New York Yankees, just adding to that depth that they already have in that rotation. And I'm going to say right now, I think he's a guy that we're going to hate to face in September. Right. We're going to see him in the lineup next to Cole, next to Rodon. Yeah. We're going to hate to face him because he looks really good and dominant, and that's the whole formula. And if they got Aaron Judge popping off, then yes, then the Yankees and Rays are looking like they're 2 dominant teams. They're going to take the Blue Jays run for the money.
Exactly. And you know what? Again, this is first series, right? It's I don't want anybody to comment down below being like, "Oh, don't overreact, guys. It's fine." It is fine. I'm sure it's fine. But right now, just in this small sample size, this weekend, we saw how it's possible that the Blue Jays finish 3rd or 4th in this division, right? We saw how it's possible
I see.
Based on this is their formulas to win. Yankees and Tampa Bay Rays, right? And when the New York Yankees get back Carlos Rodon and Severino with their offense doing what it needs to be doing, with Aaron Judge doing what he needs to be doing, that could be a problem. That could be a problem.
And I definitely, a little bit later, once we get through the MLB stuff first, I want to talk about our problems, so stay tuned, guys.
We have a few of them.
We have a few of them we're going to talk about.
A few of them, guys.
First things first, something that's fun. Let's lighten the mood from negative land. Let's talk about these whole MLB rule changes and how they're actually impacting the game. Now, obviously, we know we don't need to say it 1,000 times on this channel.
Yeah.
The games are shorter. 2 hours, 45 minutes to be exact of how short they've been. Obviously, these Blue Jays games have been quite long with all the runs that are being scored, so we haven't got to see it quite that. But the stolen bases are back, guys.
This is what I love.
Opening day, 21 for 23 on stolen base attempts. That's 1.53 attempts per game, whereas last season you had 0.67 stolen bases per game.
We are talking about a full
Attempts.
additional stolen base every single game. That's what we're
amazing.
talking about, right?
At least an attempt.
Attempts,
Yeah.
but still, 21 for 23 on opening day. I mean,
100%.
that's a very good
ratio.
right there. Like, that encourages stealing in my,
Yeah.
I don't know the entire algorithm and mathematics and everything like that, but when I just look at those numbers, I go, damn, we should probably try that a bit more.
Dude, as soon as you have one pickoff attempt, it's like you're basically giving the green light to the base runner to go.
Exactly.
You know, because then obviously if you throw your second, he can just walk over. So once I see that first pickoff, I'm like, all right, it's go time.
100%.
So as a pitcher, like, how do you counter that? Do you just never pick off?
I
what do you do?
I think you need to be sure.
You got to be sure.
And I think that we're gonna see this a lot more. Pop time, just defensive plays, reads from catchers. That entire part of the game should be being critical right now. Like, being able to gun a man out at second base.
Well, I was just thinking, here's the problem, right? I just throw out, you just never pick off. Well, if you're just never going to pick off, then the guy's going to get a bigger lead. And if he's going to get a bigger lead, you can't throw him out. So this is the problem. That's why pickoffs were in the game, and that's why it was unlimited before, obviously, because you can keep him close to the bag, right? Limit him. But now that once you throw it once over, like, I think just having a cap is going to make, like, batters, or base runners, just have bigger leads, which is, yes, it is going to encourage stealing, and it is going to make a higher success rate, but now the catchers, the pressure's on the catcher, where and on the pitcher to make a good pitch, you have to make a fastball in a place perfectly so the catcher can come up and have a good competitive throw. But that's going to encourage more offense. So you're seeing the domino effect of all of this rule changes in play.
Bro, I like it.
I do like
it
it
a lot, dude. I'm looking on my fantasy app right now, and I'm seeing these guys like 2 for 2 in steals. That's Jorge Mateo. He had 2 back-to-back steals on Baltimore in both games.
Right.
You know, it's like, you don't see that, right?
Yeah.
It's like, that doesn't happen. I truly believe, and I'll come out and I'll say it right now, guys, I truly believe that somebody, I don't know who it's going to be, but some individual is going to steal 50 bags this year.
Oh, yeah.
That is a number that we have not seen for a very long time. 50 bags is going to happen. Just based on this opening weekend, you already have guys flirting with 5.
Yeah.
You know, it's like they're 10% of the way there, right? It's like, this is going to continue. And we saw it with our guys, too, on the Blue Jays. They're being more aggressive. I didn't think that Dalton Varsho was a steal threat.
No.
I didn't think that could happen, right? But he's there, right? Cedric Mullins, 3. Look at Baltimore. Look at Baltimore, right? It's like, they know, how are we going to win ball games? We are going to be aggressive.
100%.
Mateo, speed. Mullins, speed. Volpe, speed, right? Like, these are the guys, all of them, in my opinion, could threaten for a ridiculous amount of stolen bases in this season. I think it's phenomenal, man.
I can't agree more, man. I'm excited. I love this. I love to see the offense come through, and good thing we do have a pitch clock, because if there was just offense for days, we'd be here forever.
We'd be here for literally ever, man. And that's what it felt like, actually, talking about Baltimore, talking about Boston, man. We'd be remiss if we didn't just make comment of this just wild series that transpired at Fenway, man. 3 games, 50 runs were scored, 74 hits, 24 walks. You had basically 100 base runners.
That's insane,
like,
man.
Just literally wildness, right, on both sides. And this goes to, I think it really credits what a lot of analysts were talking about, especially with Baltimore and the Red Sox. Offense is good.
Yeah, well, offense is good. I mean, I would have said that about the Boston Red Sox right out of the gate. And the Orioles, they showed they had good offenses last year, but could it also be pitching is bad. That's what I'm thinking about more here.
Bad.
Look at that strikeout to walk ratio. That's 2-to-1 basically there. And 74 hits. Okay, and that's wild to me. And the Red Sox do take this series. So now we're talking about the AL East right now. You know, obviously we're talking about Tampa Bay Rays, Yankees being real big threats in the division. Is there a reality? I know we talked about the Orioles being a threat. Is there a reality where the Red Sox can also be a threat, or is this just one of these wild series where two staffs are not really, popping off?
I'm not ready to hop on that train just yet. I mean, credit where credit is due. Red Sox clearly took advantage of the Orioles pitching, and they had actually the walk-off. They had the first walk-off of this season.
Right.
That was Duvall.
Yeah.
He got that done. So, I mean, they definitely worked there. I don't necessarily expect them, though, to really continue here. Maybe that's my bias involved. I personally think that this says a lot more about the Baltimore Orioles and their youth. Adley Rutschman is looking like him. He's looking like him. Mm-hmm. And that is, again, you're talking about all the problems for the Blue Jays. Like, they're just fucking, they're never ending, man. Right? You got Wander Franco over at Tampa Bay. You got Adley Rutschman over on Baltimore. And Baltimore is stacked. If they're going to play that level of offense where they're stealing bags consistently with all these speedy guys, Adley Rutschman is the dude. I mean, maybe the bigger question here is like, is Baltimore Orioles, are they a top 8 offense this year?
I mean, they very well could be. They got a deep lineup. They got to have some guys pop off. Obviously, Gunnar Henderson's having a nice little opening weekend series as well. He's a very important piece of that offense. But if that's going to happen, like, the Blue Jays need to figure out their pitching. They need to figure out a couple defensive woes that we saw in this opening weekend series against the Cardinals. Let's transition a bit. Let's talk about that, Nick.
Yeah.
Because we all know Blue Jays lost 2 out of 3 games. If we didn't get that wild opening day game, we would have been swept, and that would have not been a good narrative. But we dropped these 2 on Sunday and Saturday. What are your thoughts about, more specifically, Chris Bassitt today not showing up because he's a key cog in that rotation?
Yeah,
gave up 9 runs today.
Yeah, horrible. That's like literally horrible, right? We had somebody in the chat, and shout out, I think his name is Daniel. Like, shout out Daniel, like, you've been awesome, man. Like, I love hearing it. But he said, I think he said to us, like, don't hate on Chris Bassitt, And I don't want to hate on Chris Bassitt. No. This is the beginning of the season, right? So there's no hate at all. But I also don't think it's hate to state the facts. And the facts were, he was bad. His pitches were very hittable. Mm-hmm. And he needs to get better. I think he will. I think that, I'm not going to go overreact right here and say that this is a bad signing. I think that he will. No. But this was a really bad debut. This is not what Blue Jays fans wanted to see. And frankly, it's not what I think anyone expected.
No. And I mean, I even heard from Joe Siddle in the postgame, and he was kind of echoing a lot of thoughts that I was having where he just wasn't commanding anything. So when I was watching him, I'm like, where's your sequence here? Like, what are you trying to set up for the next pitch? It felt random. It felt like his command was off. And a big storyline before the opening, his opening start today was, what are you going to do with the pitch, what do you call it? Pitch calling.
Yep.
Yeah, like, because the whole thing is Chris Bassitt has 8 pitches, guys. I didn't even know this until before today. 8 pitches? So they're preferring, rather than going through all 8 pitches and saying, no, shake off, that's going to waste too much time, that they're just going to give Chris Bassitt the ability to call his pitches. Okay, sure. If you can call your own pitches, at least be able to command it and have confidence in it, because maybe I'm thinking that's a factor that is causing his command issues. He's not focused on executing. He's more focused on the sequencing, which is usually the job of the catcher. That's why he led MLB last year in so much time in between pitches.
I have no idea about Chris Bassitt's career, but I would care to wager that he's got very few and far between 9 earned run starts.
Yeah.
I feel like this doesn't happen a lot. So what is the common denominator here? Maybe it is the fact that, this guy's decided to quarterback his own play, which, again, if you can actually do, I'm here for. I think that that's really cool, right? You're sequencing better than anybody, and if you can go and you can execute those pitches, maybe you can find yourself in this elite rhythm where you're just gunning them down and nobody but you knows what's coming, and that would be really cool. But clearly, that's not what happened today, so we need to go back to the lab. We need to figure out what's going on, and I think as well, that pitch clock is going to be a factor. You said it yourself. The longest time in between pitches.
The longest. And for the exact same reason.
If it's going to hurt anyone at all, it's probably going to be that guy.
Well, think about it. If you have to shake off 4 or 5 times to get to the pitch that you finally want on average, that's a lot. I'm not saying it's on average, because obviously you have a relationship with the catcher and you know what he wants. But that's another factor too. Danny and him are catching in a regular season game for the first time when the lights are on. So it's like that's gonna take some adjustment to get used to. But that's a lot of work that Bassett's gonna have to do, man.
Yeah.
He's gonna have to work with Danny this entire next 5 days before he starts again. And I believe he starts again in the first game of the series against the LA Angels.
Yeah.
So he's got to get ready, guys.
I agree, man. And moving aside aside from Bassett, just talking pitching as a whole, and actually before I get into it,
Yeah.
please, 84 people watching, hit the like button if you haven't already done so, folks. We would really appreciate it, guys. And subscribe to this channel if you are a new viewer or been watching us for a while and feel like you like the content. That would really mean a lot to the boys. Pitching as a whole was kind of a problematic thing for the Toronto Blue Jays this series, right? We gave up 9, then we gave up 4, we gave up 9 again. So my math serves me properly. That is 22 runs that we gave up in 3 games. That's not a winning formula, right? And it wasn't just Chris Bassett. I mean, even Kingman Noah came out and didn't look like himself after or in the first start. He came out and said, listen, bad pitches I can solve. He knew that he was pitching badly in that game, so he owned that, and I wouldn't be surprised if we heard Chris Bassett come out and say something very similar. Looking at the bullpen here, I mean, Jimmy Garcia gave up a few. Anthony Bass gave up 1. Tim Meza, Eric Swanson, right? Like, no one was really... I feel like our pitching as a whole felt like they were just not ready yet, you know? Like, it's like we almost needed, like, another week of spring training or something, like... Was the season starting right now? I don't know. Well, and that's kind of what it looked like in this opening series.
And I hear it. It's really easy. I think it's better to blame. I think it's always better to focus on yourself as a team, as a player, and try to grow from that. That's the best way, the most healthy way, rather than blaming outside people and outside excuses. But I, just as a fan and someone watching this series, want to give credit to the St. Louis Cardinal lineup. Like, that lineup was thick. They were having multiple players with multiple hit games, multiple days. It was quite incredible. Goldschmidt looked incredible. Donovan looked incredible. You know, at the bottom of the line, we have Tommy Edman, who's the leadoff hitter. He looked incredible. So I do want to give them just a bit of credit. But the Blue Jays pitchers, here's the thing. You're going to face lineups like that in the big moments. We have to be ready. This is a wake-up. A little bit. You know, you have the entire 6 months to get ready to face a big lineup like that. You gotta 6 months to find out your identity. We think we know what the Blue Jays pitching rotation and bullpen looks like right now. It's gonna be completely different come September. So we gotta figure out our identity and be able to attack those hitters. And same with Josh Schneider. He has to know who's gonna bring out in their big critical situations. We have the entire season figured out. I'm not worried, but GG Cardinals.
Yeah, exactly. Like, definitely not worried 100%, but considering I think we did put them, like, our Blue Jays top 5 rotations in MLB. I think we did that when we
were top 7.
Top 7, excuse me. But either way, pretty damn good. Not the debut necessarily that we wanted, so let's figure that one out, boys. You know, considering we have, like, a solid, like, week and a half of subpar competition, I want to say. I want to say. Is there any more storylines you want to talk about from this previous series before we get into, like, crowning the J of the week and all that?
Yeah, well, why don't we talk about a little bit of a lead up, I guess, until the J of the week. Just talk about some guys who actually were impressive. We're talking all negative. Let's throw some positivity on this. I want to give credit to a lot of the Blue Jays hitters for the quality of at-bats that they gave out. I didn't put him in here, but Dalton Varsho, he had some very good quality ABs.
Good.
He had like a sub like 700 OPS, but I know he's gonna break through just based on the quality ABs. Vladimir Guerrero Jr. with 3 walks, hitting 300 with an OPS of 867. Just did his job.
Taking what's given to him, you know. There was really only one bad moment I thought from Vladdy. Like, I remember the strikeout from yesterday, but it was also like really nice pitching.
Helsley was dominant.
Like he was really good there. But that's the only like pinpoint moment where I can be like, I wasn't perfect for me.
You can afford that. Every other AB, he's been quite incredible.
He's been very, very good. So I like that Guerrero is not expanding the zone, really like staying within himself, and hopefully not forcing those hits like he tried to do last year.
Didn't look like he was He didn't look like he was trying to force it. And another small note is just Kiermaier 4 for 9. He didn't get the start in the Sunday game today, but 4 for 9. He's looking good. He's looking healthy. George Springer, a little weird series, getting 5 hits.
I mean, like I guess like credit where credit is due to George Springer. If he wasn't there, we wouldn't have won that game in the opening day, but then he just kind of went completely silent after that. And frankly, too, like in the other games, maybe because he was feeling so hot, you know, he decided to get like super aggressive. But I noticed with Springer, like in the 2 following games, like this guy was like one and done sort of thing.
Yeah.
Like a lot of the times, like just like one pitch, bang.
Yeah.
And it didn't really fall for him. So maybe he was just like feeling himself after that
Right.
opening day. Hopefully, like we can kind of like marry the two and, take a little bit of pitches, work the count a bit more. Because there was definitely a lot of innings in there. And you know that Bo's going to do this. Bo always does this. But there was a few times there where it was like George is out, Bo's out, and we're like 4 pitches in.
Yeah.
And
It happened quite a lot, actually. In this
like how did that happen?
Yeah. And speaking of Bo, got to give him some credit. He tied the lead, team in hits this weekend with 6 hits, a double, 967 OPS. I'll say it again, guys. I'm now buying in. It took me 4 seasons to buy into Bo Bichette's approach.
It will.
I'm bought in.
Yeah.
He's gonna do his thing.
The results will come, The results will come with Bo Bichette regardless, man.
But
all of that being considered, though, there was one guy who really stood out among the rest. And if you know this show, if you've been watching this show for a few seasons, then you know that this is that moment where we like to crown the J of the Week.
Yes, it is that time, Nick. I love it. I love that the J of the Week is back, boys and girls, because it's, we gotta honor the boys that are actually doing it. And this week, especially in today's game, what I saw out of that middle of the lineup, I saw one guy down there. He was doing it. He was providing the RBIs, providing the hits. And that man is Mr. Matty Ice, Matt Chapman, everybody.
Let's go, Matt Chapman.
Let's go.
Yeah, I'm very happy with this, and I really feel that Matt Chapman is going to be in for a big year. We've been talking about this for a minute, folks. This is that contract season for Matt Chapman.
Yes.
You know that he is due for a big payday if he puts up the batting numbers, because the defense is always going to be there. He looked locked in. He was one of those bright spots, and it's just so nice because once Springer and Bichette and Guerrero just start really churning, you're going to also have the middle of that lineup too, because you know Kirk, what he's going to bring, and if Matt Chapman can also be that guy, that is a long lineup.
I love it. And you saw him batting in the 7th spot, the 5th spot, and the 6th spot in all 3 games, so he's going to be there regardless, expected to produce, and produce he did. He batted 500 this weekend with 2 doubles, 2 RBIs, a walk, and a beautiful OPS that leads the Blue Jays currently at 1.205.
Not bad.
Love to
Not
see it.
bad for
Love to see
Mr. Matty Ice.
Congratulations.
All right, everybody. We got a long week of baseball ahead, and we need to get into it. Kansas City, LA Angels. Those are the 2 teams that the Toronto Blue Jays will be taking on. All of it on the road. 4 games in KC, 3 games in Anaheim, a.k.a. LA. Let's talk first about that Kansas City Royals series that we have. 4 games, frankly, that are very winnable. This is not the top tier. In fact, I would argue that this is kind of like, bottom 10 sort of squads in baseball.
And what do they do this week?
It was pretty subpar, man.
I
think it was pretty subpar.
Yeah, they lost all 3 games.
Okay.
So, guys, this is the chance to warm up a bit. I know we're on the road, but it's a chance to warm up just a bit.
Yeah.
Taking a look, like Nick's saying, at the upcoming series, we go directly to Kansas City, and we got Jose Barrios taking the mound for the Toronto Blue Jays up against Brady Singer, who had a 4.01 ERA last year. That's gonna be a toss-up. We got
Singer's something too, because
he's
like
special.
he's got a lot of upside. Yeah, like he's definitely not hit his ceiling yet, so that's definitely no gimme right there. And then Kikuchi versus Bubic, I believe is how you pronounce his name. I mean, they're both kind of meh, if we're being completely honest.
Hey, babe, this is Kikuchi's debut again. He's being reborn, I'd say, ladies and gentlemen.
I agree, man. Who knows what we're going to get out of Yusei Kikuchi. And then you're going to get back to that top of the rotation for the Blue Jays. Manoah on Wednesday, going up against Gorinky. And then Gausman taking on Mr. Lyles.
Yeah, it's going to be quite the series, man. It's hard to really expect anything because we just straight up don't know what's this season going to be for Barrios, Kikuchi, even Singer, like you're saying, and Greinke. Like, does he have one more good year in the tank? Because last year he was pretty good, actually. 3.38 ERA.
Yeah. I mean, Zach Greinke just consistently puts up. Okay.
So we're gonna give guys, if you're new here, we're gonna give our predictions on what we think for this KC series.
Yeah, so here's the thing, man. On paper, we're just clearly a better team. And I think that even Kansas City Royal fans, they'll come out and they'll agree with that. But here are the things that are working against us. We're on the road. We are off to a bit of a rocky start when it comes to keeping runs out. We are having a bit of a hard time. And we're also having our two, quote-unquote, worst pitchers, at least entering into the season, going to be pitching in this series. Right? So, like, these are all things that are kind of going against the Blue Jays right here. On the flip side, maybe this is a get-me-right series. Maybe this is a series where Alek Manoah is really feeling the pressure after opening day and wants to show up, and he goes out and he dominates for 7 innings. Maybe this is Yusei Kikuchi's opportunity to say, hey, look at me, everybody. I am that guy. And he comes out and he brings up the slack from Chris Bassett, right? There is a bunch of different narratives that you can look at here. Where are you kind of... Well, where are you at?
Here's where I'm at. Kansas City, I have it right here. I'll flash it over. Not good with the offense. OPS of 494 to start the season. Again, small sample size. Pitching was actually pretty good. I mean, they were 11th, whereas the Blue Jays were 26 right now. So obviously, again, just looking at this, what we're coming out of. I'm kind of being... I don't want to be overly optimistic. Getting 3 wins in a 4-game series is pretty tough, folks. So what I'm going to say, honestly... I think we're gonna. That's what I think we're gonna do. I think we're gonna lose Monday. I think we're gonna lose tomorrow.
Yeah,
it's gonna suck. We're gonna be 1-3 to start the season. Kikuchi's gonna grab the W. I believe.
Right.
Kikuchi's grabbing the W. Here's the thing. On Wednesday, I think we're gonna lose again. Manoah's still warming up. I don't know. Maybe he's a little bit shell shocked, but I think Ricky's just gonna have a good game. He's gonna be competitive.
Grinky's no slouch, man.
He's no
it's
slouch.
not like we're up against an easy one here.
Yeah, and then even though Jordan Lyles had a good start, Gosman had a good start. I just think the other shoe's going to drop, and our offense is going to show up that Thursday. I think we're going to split the series on the road against Kansas City. Just that next series, man.
I kind of hate that because this is a team that we need to beat, man.
I know.
When you look at this, and when I was looking at the season, at this opening series, the weeks, I was like, this is wins and W's.
Yep.
So because of that, I'm not going to overreact off of this opening day series. I'm not going to let that happen. I don't want to... I'm going to stick with my guns here. This is Blue Jays baseball, baby. 3 W's.
Ooh. Anyone that stands out being like the L?
Yeah, I don't know. Because I'm also with you. I feel like I'm on the Kikuchi hype train. I'm on the Kikuchi hype train.
And Bubik's not that good. That feels like a W.
Exactly, right? Like, how can I go against Gosman? For some reason, I feel like tomorrow the Blue Jays offense is gonna kind of be like, what the hell are we doing?
I can see that easily happen.
Even if Burrios kind of like screws up a little bit, gives up like 3-4 runs, I just have a feeling that we're gonna do it.
Okay.
But I also don't want to come out here and say, oh, Manoah's gonna be our only L. That doesn't feel right.
I also didn't feel good saying it, but I just had to go with my gut.
I don't know. I'm not sure who's going to lose this one, but I do think that we're going to win 3 out of 4 there against Kansas City.
Okay.
I thought that coming into the season, so I'm not going to let a bad series against St. Louis kind of cloud my judgment there. We win 3 out of 4.
Okay, you got it. Well, we must be hot because then we're going over to the West Coast, going to L.A. Those going to be some late-night games. Angels, it's also their home opener. That's pretty cool on that Friday. We've got Chris Bassett trying to get a little bit of a revenge going up against Patrick Sandoval, who was pretty
damn good, actually.
Yeah.
Pretty damn good. And, I mean, credit to the Angels. I just saw a highlight on my Twitter saying that Shohei Ohtani and Mike Trout, both of their first home runs, back to back.
That was pretty good.
That's obviously a pretty lethal lineup. They have 2 of the best, if not literally the best, players in baseball on their squad, among many others.
I know. Well, good thing we don't get to face Ohtani in that series. Thank God.
Yeah, no, pitching-wise anyway. But we're still going to have to deal with the bat.
Also, I just want to throw a litlittle disclaimer out there. Maybe by that point, maybe they give Ohtani an extra day rest. If they did, then we might actually. Who knows? Who knows?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Impossible to know. It's still early on in the season, so everyone's not totally gassed up or juiced up for their entire workload.
Yeah.
So, assuming what it is right now, who else do we have?
Then we've got Jose Barrios coming back around. He's getting a start against Tyler Anderson, who we all know was a LA Dodger last year, now an Angel. He threw up a 0 in his first start of the season. Then we've got Kikuchi on the Sunday versus Detmers, who last year he had a 427. So Yeah, what are your thoughts on that series there?
Okay, so you know what? This is why we needed to take 3 out of 4 against KC, because this one to me feels like Angels, and it feels like this is going to be kind of a similar situation to the Cardinals series that we just watched. High scoring, lots of runs. We win one of them, but they take the other 2. Again, I don't know which ones, man. But how can I really, at the same point, like, can I bet on Bassett, Barrios, Kikuchi?
And Kikuchi to get you 2 Ws?
To give me 2 Ws? That's tough.
That's exactly where I'm at right now, just because I just don't know. At this point, when I'm making this prediction, maybe come Tuesday, Monday, I have a better idea. I'm like, oh yeah, we could definitely take 2.
100%.
But right now, I just don't know. We're on the road. We're swinging time zones left, right, and center all over the place.
Yes.
So I'm saying we're gonna drop 2 again. This is not the start. This is not the start I wanted to predict. But listen. Come homestand, we're gonna dominate.
Yeah.
We're gonna dominate.
Different story over there, man. I mean, it's also very tough to predict this series because 2 of the starting pitchers we haven't seen yet. And they're the biggest question marks of anyone on this J staff. And the one pitcher that we have seen might be literally the worst starter out of the opening day weekend so far.
Boy.
It is really tough to positively predict the Blue Jays there, even though we don't want to overreact here. But yeah, so I think, what does that make you?
So for me, I'm 4-6 after this week. Before our next Blue Jays Today show, that would make you 5-5, I believe.
No, that can't be possible.
Because you're gonna say you win 3 and win another one.
I think you're over. You're wait.
So I win. Because I'm gonna win two in the KC series, and then 1 in LA. So it's 3. So 3 plus 1, 4. So for you would be 5-5, because you'd lose 1 and lose 2. So yeah, you'd be 5-5. I'd be 4-6 in my predictions.
That's not horrible, actually.
If we go 5-5, like, I'm gonna take that after this kind of opening weekend series.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's not horrible.
Yeah.
Okay.
And these are modest predictions.
Very modest predictions, right? Like, if the offense really gets churning right here, or who knows, maybe Barrios and Kikuchi are just absolutely dominant. That's kind of what this week comes down to.
It comes down to
those
guys.
This is the Barrios and Kikuchi week. They both go 2 times. So if those back end, rotation guys decide, like, hey, this season's going to be a lot different from last season, then we're going to be in for an amazing week, and we're going to love everything. We're going to be completely, we're going to praise them. We're going to sing their praises next Blue Jays Today show.
Absolutely.
If they are like they were last season,
then not so much. Hey, this could be an opportunity for one of them to win Jay of the Week.
Hell yeah.
If they take 2 W's and are dominant, like, that's a Jay of the Week right there.
Hell yeah. And that's actually a great segue to getting into our next segment. It is now time to spin that wheel.
The spinning fortune, baseball, colorful, future determining, stat analyzing, and it's a wheel that we spin every week.
That's right, everybody. Woo! It is that wheel that we spin every single week. Shout out and thank you to our new subscriber. I can't actually see it on the screen.
We can't see it,
but you're awesome for subscribing. So how this works, everybody, if you are new here, is Adam and I spin the wheel. And we pick categories. And we do 3 categories every single week. And it's a lot of fun.
It's so much fun.
Adam is the reigning champion from last year.
Yeah. No sound effects are working, but let's go.
No sound effects are working. So shout out. In the 2 seasons that we've done this, I won season 1. Adam won season 2, I believe.
Ooh. Yeah, I did. It was like right at the end there. Yeah.
Yeah, no, you did.
We didn't actually finish the last week, but I remember adding it up, and I got it.
You were the winner there. So shout out. We are back to back. This is the rubber match season, everybody. Yeah. And I think the way that we did do it last year was you went first as the
because
loser.
I was the loser, so you go first.
So I will go first here, and that means I have a slight advantage in this opening week.
So just to explain to everybody, there's 3 categories. Nick gets to choose if he goes first or goes second in selecting the player for said category, and if he gets, there's also a fun bonus player that he will get during this week.
You got a lot of.
I got a lot of bonus players.
Dude, I feel like I never.
You never got a bonus player, bro. Oh no, you did, but
I did, but
rarely.
very few and far between, man.
So let's do it.
Let's go, everybody. Here we are, first spin of the 2023 baseball season. Give me that bonus player that I need. Oh, it doesn't look like it's happening this time around.
K's for the batters.
K's for the batters. So how this works, everybody, is this K's for the batters for the Toronto Blue Jays.
Yes.
And this, to me, seems like a complete toss-up because we're right in the early part of the season.
Do you want to take a look? You want to take a look at what we got?
Sure, show me what we have. Yeah,
Okay,
show me what we got so far.
I can't exactly show them because I think it's going to flip off all the graphics, but I could show you guys, or show you, Nick.
Yeah, so I'm taking a look
strikeouts.
right now to give you guys... Oh, okay, so Dalton Varsho, K'd a lot, even though, he was having good ABs. 5 strikeouts. Brandon Belt, oh my gosh, Alejandro.
Yeah, Kirk with 3 strikeouts.
3 strikeouts, you never see that. Okay, interesting. I'm going to let you have this one, man, because this isn't, I feel like this one's kind of up for grabs.
It's tough.
Anyone can do anything.
I mean, you obviously got Matt Chapman and Dalton Varsho are kind of my favorite two, but just based on recency, if I'm making my predictions here, I know Varsho's giving me lineup every single day. I guess I gotta go with Dalton Varsho, even though I like them, but you kind of forced my hand there a little bit.
I mean, that's totally fair enough, man, and the reason that I let you go first on that one is because I'm personally okay with taking Matt Chapman.
Yeah.
I mean, as much as he's had an incredible opening series, he is a K machine. We know what he does. He'll still hit his home runs. He'll still get his hits, but he will strike out a lot, and he will also be in the lineup every single day. So there you go. Also,
guys, throw your who you would pick if you had the choice in the comments down below and in the live chat. Please let us know.
Do, everybody. So I will go first the next 2 categories. What are they gonna be?
Ooh, I don't know.
Let's go, everybody. Come on. Give me that bonus. Oh, it's coming. It's
coming.
coming.
No, it's not. Home runs for the batters. You gotta love that.
Interesting. And this is a tough one.
It is.
Because no one's hit a single home run so far. Not a single player has done it on the Toronto Blue Jays. But actually something that we didn't talk about
We
so
didn't.
far.
I actually was going to bring it up, but kind of disappointing.
Very disappointing, guys. Just to give you guys a note, historically bad. Actually, we literally have, never, I forget, what did they say? It's
we've never homered in the first 3 games in Blue Jays history.
Right, this is, historically
never
awful.
in our franchise have we done that.
Yeah, so we didn't get a single home run in this entire series, even though we scored a decent amount of runs here. I mean, I can't go wrong with picking Guerrero.
You gotta pick Guerrero.
So it's that's gonna be my guy here.
Yeah.
I mean, if anyone's gonna get the most, it's gonna be that dude.
All right. Well, I mean, we're on the road. We're in some big pitcher-friendly parks. I really don't. I mean, Matty Ice is hot. Maybe he pops a couple. He's popped a couple before.
I tell you what, if you did pick Chapman, then if he has a bad week, actually.
Yeah, I know what you mean. If he K's batter, I know that's the thing. If he
if he has a good week, then you probably win.
I probably win, but if I don't, but I don't want to double down like that.
Yeah.
A Bo, Bo was real close. He had 6 hits. Bo could pop one easily. Pop 4 in spring training. You know what? I actually want to stick with my gut. I'm gonna go Bo.
Okay.
Just for that exact reason.
Yeah.
He
is looking good, man, and you know that he's a free swinger, right?
Yeah.
The one thing about Guerrero this season, at least what I've seen so far, is he's getting thrown a lot of balls.
A lot of balls.
So it's I could see a reality where Guerrero's locked in, looking really good, but he just takes a ton of walks, whereas Bo's always going to be free swinging.
He's going to be swinging all the time. And again, I like the recency bias of the spring training. I like it.
All right.
Let's go.
Final category. What's it gonna be?
Let's see.
Missing the bonus player again.
And it's gonna be OPS. All right.
Interesting, man. Interesting.
That is interesting.
I
mean, we can take a look at the OPSs.
Yeah, pull it up. Pull it up and let me take a look. I mean, I feel like I know where I'm going, but
Got Matty Chapman, Bo Bichette, Kiermaier, Guerrero, Varsho. Right. Those are the order of which OPSs are ranking right now.
Yeah. So as far as I'm concerned, I am gonna double dip on Guerrero here.
As you should.
I feel confident in that, and honestly, I feel like you're going Bichette here.
Yeah, probably, because again, I got a double dip, and I think if he's gonna pop off, it's gonna be.
That's the thing. Like we're telling the story, right? It's like if Guerrero hits the most home runs, he'll have the highest OPS. Yeah. If Bichette hits the most home runs, he'll have the highest OPS.
Exactly.
So it's like I'm kind of telling the story that is what it is going to be.
Especially with you, like with the OPS for Guerrero, he's getting a ton of walks, so that's going to contribute to the OPS.
He's always going to be in that conversation, right? So,
right. Whereas this week, I haven't seen a lot of guys pop off in terms of getting on base like Guerrero has. You know, I mean, obviously Matty Chapman, but I just feel more confident leaning towards superstar over 7 days.
Totally agree. Couldn't agree more, man. All right, guys, so there is our picks for this week, and that concludes our Blue Jays Today show. First one of the season, guys. We'll be cutting some clips from this show, posting it out for those of you who are rewatching it. Please comment down below your thoughts on this week around MLB, around baseball, and the Toronto Blue Jays. We'll have tons more podcasts, shorts, live streams, everything coming out this week. So if you haven't already done so, please subscribe to the channel, like the stream. We can't wait to make more content for y'all.
Yeah, guys. Thank you so much for watching.
And
Go Jays, go!